Even though we've had a plenty of off-season moves, we still have plenty to go around probably certain off-season moves relating to the Los Angeles Lakers, dependent on the pay cut. I don't know. Still, how 100 million is a pay cut for LeBron James, while his son garners his rookie contract over 7 million. Demar DeRozan got traded from the Chicago Bulls in a three-way trade. Pause. I'm joking, but still, like a three-way trade for DeMar DeRozan to pick up over the wing position, involving the San Antonio Spurs for a first-round pick for a 2031 first-round protected pick. For Harrison Barnes from the Sacramento Kings, Chris Duarte to the Chicago Bulls for two second-round picks and cash considerations. So there could now be a more reliable wing than Harrison Barnes. That's been a dependable aging wing that rotates over as a undersized power forward. That's kind of wasted production since his time. I don't think he's been that useful, even though he's been part of a postseason drought. Where they had an outstanding playoff series with the Sacramento Kings, but obscurity and his shooting splits has declined heavily, while DeMar DeRozan has been still a big example of consistency and experience around shooting his all-around great splits from the mid-range. His experience and now returning back over to the West Coast as now a pivotal role over, not in the secondary unit, but probably a probable starter, could help the Kings get out of this drought. Thanks last time they were in the play-in and fell short. While the Sacramento kind of gets some illustrious veterans to help grow one of their biggest rookies in a long time out of Victor Wembanyama, knowing that he now has one of the best point guards in the last decade and a half out of Chris Paul, and a reliable wing that probably will help bring around the shot selection involving Devin Vassal's production that's actually been pretty decent, and a pretty good all-around score around his long-range shots. The Spurs had what it takes to win possibly 30 games the way they've played. They even upsetted the Phoenix Suns in certain occasions. Wembanyama looked like he was on par with already All-NBA big men in the league already. And knowing that possibly the veteranship between Chris Paul and Greg Popovich could possibly help with also the production of Jeremy Sohan. That's been also another bright spot with Keldon Johnson. That probably needs... He practically needs a bit of secondary unit help. Even though there probably might be some times where he might rotate. He was 45% from the field. And that's below at least minimum production for a 24-year-old. That still has a lot of upside. Being a decent wing defender and shot selector. While Chicago are still in the talks to get rid of Zach LaVine. Nikola Vucevic, I don't know if can push over to a package deal, because this big three to be a minimum play-in contender just absolutely blew me off the water how hilarious they thought they'd contend. But Lonzo Ball is still in his 20s. He's still 26 years old. They even got Javonte Green for some apparent reason. Zach LaVine has the most market value but the most empty calorie stats when it comes to high volume shooting with no upside and winning basketball involved. That could be a good third unit, second unit on a team. And even his faltering move to the Golden State Warriors kind of kind of got fell out the water. I thought Patrick Williams could get traded at the same time because I don't feel like Patrick Williams is that good in the Chicago Bulls. Whenever I see him, bro, it feels like he's staggering in no man's land whenever they're pushing over in the rebound and he can't shoot that good. Jalen Smith was one of the better players that was traded away. No, I think they signed him as a free agent. Now Chris Duarte's there. The only upsides they got is probably Kobe White, Javon Carter, that I swear they shouldn't have got rid of him when he was over in Milwaukee. He was a good secondary unit point guard. Lonzo Ball, I just feel like he needs to go somewhere else. And Ayo Dosunmu's been pretty okay, but he needs some developing. But I don't know, unless it's like a package deal with certain considerations for at least another building franchise, I feel like there's no contending team that would need somebody like Zach LaVine. And going over to the Sacramento Kings, that would be the major talking point, knowing like they have a decent amount of depth. After Malik Monk was one of the possible contenders to win Sixth Man of the Year with his new deal. Jordan McLaughlin, that was a decent secondary unit at the backup point guard position for the Timberwolves for Mike Conley when it comes to perimeter D and catch and shooting. Jalen McDaniels, the worst McDaniels. Keegan Murray, that's a good perimeter shooter. Trey Lyles and Alex Len, they still have empty, less versatile bigs on the backup position behind Domantas Sabonis that could hold them back. If they could push over for Valanciunas, even though Domantas Sabonis is already a starting level center, there could be a chance there. Or Vucevic could go to the New York Knicks, knowing about Mitchell Robinson's health problems. And DeMar DeRozan's experience and offensive shot creation could be an option. I don't know how much he would affect over to the defensive front. Thinks they're still going to start Kevin Huerter. And Keon Ellis has shown to be one of the better defending guards on the team. So this would be a good enough team to probably push 5th seed in the Western Conference, probably make some noise. Because let's be honest, Western Conference is a bit more hard to predict who would take the number 1 spot. Would it be? I mean, most people would predict that it would be the Oklahoma City Thunder, knowing the monster moves they've done over the offseason. You can't tell me that this wouldn't be an instant sim for a 1st seed, involving signing Isaiah Hartenstein, getting rid of Josh Giddey so Casey Wallace could probably switch for more minutes, getting one of the best defending guards in the NBA out of Alex Caruso that's been dying to finally go for a contending team. I've been asking for this. Chet Holmgren, that's been one of the second best, biggest prospects out of last season, and Rookie of the Year contending if it wasn't for Wembanyama. Another Jalen Williams that's a decent catch and shooter. It's just raw potential to be perennial consistent threats for possibly the remainder of the 2020s. That Sacramento, Oklahoma City could possibly not fuck up. Because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is like 25 years old. So the upside for him to develop over as an All-NBA guard, to lead over a team with the leverage that they have with the first-round picks if something goes south, is probably infinite, involving the Thunder. The Nuggets also been in talks to regain Russell Westbrook after Kentavious Caldwell-Pope left for the Orlando Magic. They still have DeAndre Jordan under contract for some apparent reason. They never thought of probably trying to target Cam Johnson after Mikal Bridges left for the Oklahoma City Thunder in a 3-way trade, in a massive trade. The only decent upside players that they got is still Aaron Gordon, that's nearly pushing 30, that's 29 years old. Christian Brown, that's a young second unit guard that could push over to the starting position. Justin Holiday, and I think just Jamal Murray and Peyton Watson with Dario Saric. That's been the only that's only been the major free agent signing that the Nuggets has had. And Westbrook would just be a bonus in the secondary unit. I don't see a 35-year-old Russell Westbrook starting guard unless it's to produce energy and playmaking off the second unit that the Nuggets would really benefit from, knowing their loss at depth from last season that kind of got them pushed to the edge by the Minnesota Timberwolves. So if that happens to be the move that the Nuggets are making, there needs to be more in the water. And bruh, out of everything I've seen this offseason, the Miami Heat are still remaining quiet. This whole offseason. The only thing they've gotten was Alec Burke. Alec Burke, bro. Alec Burke. They waived Orlando Robinson from earlier, under 24 hours ago. They still push over for Terry Rozier, and just the wasteful optimism after being another minimum playing contender that risks more, that has a high risk of injury that involved Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier missing over the first round series against the Boston Celtics. That could have went the other way. The Miami Heat has this mentality of a shoulda, woulda, coulda franchise. If this happened for us, then I swear to God, we could have pushed it in 6. Like, if you don't shut up, even though it would be nice to see Jimmy play that series, let's just keep it a stack. I don't know what type of financial turmoil that Pat Riley doesn't want to overhaul, that they're pushing over to the cap, knowing how much they had to re-sign Tyler Hero, or how much of the Demar the Terry Rozier trade set them back, and still keeping over a deal for Kevin Love. But it's just obscurity at the moment that the Miami Heat are just not taking advantage or trying to leverage over any future deals for potential youth, because Tyler Hero is injury prone. Jimmy Butler's nearly 35 years old, bro, with a $45 million remaining salary in his contract. Duncan Robinson is a fringe spot-up shooter that somehow gets minutes. Bam Adebayo is still an All-NBA player at 26 years old. And Alec Burke is a minimum fringe secondary unit. The rest is just wasteful veterans, busted first-round picks like Josh Richardson that had some upside early around the season, or unproven commodities. And even when they go for a useful sum, they produce, and then you trade them away for the bare minimum. Or just leave them over in the contract without getting any leverage out of them. Like you did with Max Strus, one of the most productive three-point shooters that was a higher seed than you, helping the Cavaliers get to like the 5th seed while you guys were still battling over play-in contention. Nobody wants to be in the fucking play-in. Your fans don't want to see them in the fucking play-in. Knowing that you guys have made more finals appearances than the defending NBA champions right now. So what is the end game, or this Heat culture mentality that the Heat been preaching for the past decade, and it still hasn't produced any results? If it says that this process is for an in-season tournament, I swear there should be a crime rate going up over in Miami right now. Because you can't tell me Nikola Jovic is the future. Like, if you don't calm down, they are a possible potential threat in the Eastern Conference. Because right now it's like a two-legged race between the New York Knicks, the Nova Knicks, and the Boston Celtics. If you want to push the Sixers in there all because of name value with no results, go right ahead. I don't care. Indiana Pacers even made it to a conference finals. And they're possibly going to make it again, knowing they've been a dark horse in majority of playoff series with an All NBA guard that actually done something. We haven't even seen Tyler Hero actually do anything since the 2020 bubble playoff series. Bam Adebayo has to hard carry because he's not old, and he's not overrated, and he's not injury prone. Fucking Thomas Bryant is still reliant to still stick over a minimum contract, and he's the same age as Bam Adebayo. Jimmy Butler either gotta be the complementary secondary threat, or they need to pick somebody up to add over to the front court or in the point guard position. I've been asking for years that the Miami Heat could just be another great team to watch if they just traded away Tyler Hero. There is more playmaking guards that are better, healthier, and consistent than Tyler Hero. And we're just not getting that. Hell, I wouldn't even care at this point that they rotate Terry to the 1 so they can get guys like Zach LaVine to possibly make this a pseudo... to make this into a pseudo big 3. Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson could also be a major trading asset. Danny Adevisa already went over to the Trailblazers, so that's another defending player at the wing position that could possibly take over whenever Jimmy Butler's out. That would be a great young defending forward that could help out over in the secondary unit, because there's a lot of plays when I saw that Celtics series that the Celtics could just do whatever they want. They can kick out, press, attack over to the rim. They can knock out every shooting split imaginable to make the Heat look like they can't score. Another opportunity to get Malcolm Brogdon. Even though he's on the older side, a decent vet to push over in the second unit. Or at the 1 guard spot. We haven't had a decent enough point guard since... the Miami Heat hasn't had a decent enough point guard since Kyle Lowry. That's at least some leverage that you guys are trying to evolve your squad. Because if Pat Riley is telling me right now that we're just going over a phase where we have confidence over to the team, and Eric Spoelstra still got to push you over rotations that he thinks a 35-year-old could do everything on the court. It's complete ignorance. It's complete ignorance, denial, and delusion, this whole Miami Heat franchise. And it's killing them for the production that they could win a championship someday. But they don't. Because they won't. And I hate saying that. Because I'm a massive D. Wade fan, and I always want the Miami Heat to do well. Even though I support the Knicks. But it seems like they got hope on Khalil Ware after a good Summer League debut with 26 points to take over, and they lose Caleb Martin. He turned down a $65 million extension on a secondary unit because there's no winning aspirations on this Heat team if they're gonna keep over the same niggas, and then they're gonna he's gonna take over the contract over for the Sixers because they're actually aspirating because they traded for an All-NBA overrated forward. But at least the Sixers are making moves. Well, it just feels like they're slowly transitioning to a pseudo rebuild, with Jimmy Butler just trying to hard carry at 35 years old, bro. It's just scary hours at this point. If anybody's a Miami Heat fan out there, because what is your prodigal end game? You think the franchise is having enough money to even try to produce still at this stage to be a contender? Has there been anybody that you want to play over for this franchise, or this could be a desired spot for anybody to contend, knowing that they are getting the minimum for the players that they have that could actually push, knowing that they're always the black horse team that always makes deeper playoff runs than the pictured favorites. But this time they didn't. They got knocked out in the same round that they beat the first seeded team of the Eastern Conference last year. It's a waste, bro. Jaime Jaquez was such a breakout rookie this season. Nikola Jovic and Duncan Robinson took a step up in production. Bam Adebayo still has many years in the league where he could possibly leave for a practical contending franchise. And Jimmy Butler has been already over trade talks, knowing that the Heat are doing the minimum while he has a hard carryover injuries at 34 years old. While Pat Riley's telling his dumbass to shut the fuck up. Like, come on, bruh. What's really the end game here? But that's just my opinion. But that's all I want to discuss over this these current off-season conversations. And I know this kind of was lengthier than expected. But you guys tell me down in the comment section below how you guys feeling about some of the off-season moves your teams are making. That's it for me. Like, comment, subscribe for more here on the DST show. I'm going to take my Tylenol.